Welcome back, everybody, to the 2019 Pokemon Video Game Regional Championships here in Portland, Oregon. My name is Dwee. Joining me at the desk right now, of course, the one, the only person that I had so many great musings with just recently, Len Duel. We are back here ready for round 4.
Yeah, ready for some Pokemon to be played and not just discussed.
Although I did have a good time with that, though. That was really fun. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. We have a match between Bingjie Wang versus Joseph Ugarte. Joe, of course, coming off a spectacular start to the season.
Yeah, top 4 and top 8 already at 2 regionals since Worlds. Really demonstrating prowess in this post-Worlds Ultra Series metagame. And already off to a good start here, 3 wins so far, and looking to pick up his 4th.
Yep, Bingjie, no stranger to the stream at all, or competing at high-level tournaments. I've definitely seen him play before as well. So this is going to be a great match between 2 strong players. You know, I say that a lot, but I think everybody that even makes it out here to the regional championships really gives it their all. And I think that every player here is a strong player. And here we go right now into team preview. Joe using a team of Groudon, Yveltal, Incineroar, Tapu Koko, Metagross, and Venusaur over on Bingjie's side, using Tapu Lele, Kartana, Stakataka, Incineroar, Rayquaza, and Palkia. So that's a Pokemon that we don't see too often in VGC.
Yeah, a little bit of off-meta restricted here. Yveltal not that far off of the meta, but you don't see too many Yveltal. And then, of course, Palkia. That's a little bit further off. Probably not the best matchup for it here. Maybe trying to do similar things to Kyogre with Rayquaza against that Groudon, trying to sneak in a big water move. But I think Yveltal actually feels relatively comfortable in this matchup, right? He's got to worry about the Tapu Lele getting big fairy attacks off. Can't let the Trick Room go up and then big rock slides come down. But generally, I think the Yveltal will have a good position on the board, and we'll try to spend a lot of the time sitting there, putting out consistent damage.
Yeah, so here we are now jumping into the first game. The leads are about to be sent out here between Bingjie and Joseph. So, yeah, Palkia, be cool to see, but just, yeah, there it is. Palkia and Incineroar leads for Bingjie. Over on the other side, Joseph leading with Tapu Koko and Yveltal.
Yeah, so immediately that Yveltal is out here alongside the Palkia. Palkia, probably kind of a neutral position here, right? You know, it doesn't really want to take attacks from Tapu Koko or Yveltal, not threatening any one-hit KOs probably, but I think that's kind of what you're playing for a lot with Palkia. You generally find it more in middling positions where it just is sure to provide some amount of value. Incineroar here kind of misses the mark with Intimidate. Maybe you're worried that Yveltal has something physical, something like a Sucker Punch, but mostly going to be using Foul Play, Snarl, other things that don't rely on its own attack stat.
Palkia opening up this round with a Protect as a Z move from Joseph's side. It is going to be the Tapunium Z, going for the Guardians of Alola Z move, trying to deal...
Yeah, we see Nature's Madness a lot,
damage, yeah.
But we don't see that upgrade to be a 75% reduction instead of 50% all that often. You do pay a lot for that extra 25% with the Z Crystal, but can help you pick up really good KOs. We'll see what it can do here.
Yep, and going through that Protect, Palkia can't fully protect itself, doing a little under a quarter to Palkia as Snarl from that Yveltal being used, hits into that Protect, chips away at that Incineroar. Not going to matter much at all, though, as the Incineroar special attack does drop one stage, and Incineroar using U-turn, saving that Intimidate for later, hitting into that Yveltal for some damage, as now Bingjie gets to pivot.
Yeah, probably looking for Guardians of Alola plus Snarl to just be a clean KO onto Palkia. Instead, Bingjie makes the smart play there, gets Palkia protected for a turn, and burns that Guardian of Alola for the 1/4 of 75% damage done to it.
Yep, so Rayquaza takes the field over on Bingjie's side. Rayquaza will be able to dish out some big hits here.
I feel like Tapu Koko is still in a pretty comfortable position here, can still offer quite a bit. Tapu Koko's run a whole variety of moves. We've already seen the Nature's Madness. We know it's not Assault Vest because of that Tapunium Z, so probably spending another move slot on Protect, another move slot on Volt Switch. Maybe he doesn't find the room for something like Dazzling Gleam then, which would be obviously great in this position if it had it. But I do think Yveltal is also still in a pretty comfortable position, especially if you have Incineroar in the back and get out to Intimidate and prevent that Rayquaza from threatening Yveltal too much, then it can continue to throw out Snarls that are both a lot of damage and preventing that Palkia from threatening the Yveltal too much.
Yep, Rayquaza immediately switches out. Bingjie pivoting the Pokemon as wisely as possible. Stack Attack does take the field here. Tapu Koko uses Light Screen, so this is a supportive Tapu Koko, really boosting the special defenses over on Joseph's side of the field as Foul Play connects into that Stack Attack up as Palkia uses Trick Room. So that is one benefit of using Palkia.
Yeah, Palkia shows why it's there. One of the only restricted Pokemon that has access to that Trick Room. We saw a little bit of it in 2010, much more common on its partner in time, Dialga. There, though, it sets up the Trick Room right as Stack Attack comes in. It comes in at a fairly high cost, eating a Foul Play for just under 50%, but you love to have that Stack Attack in unintimidated with Trick Room up, threatening giant Rock Slides against these Pokemon. You'd expect Incineroar wants to come in to intimidate, but it has to take a Rock Slide itself to do that. This is a really good position for Bingjie.
Yep, so Yveltal protects itself by switching. Joseph wants to preserve that Yveltal for later on. Big Intimidate from this Incineroar onto that Stack Attack to reduce the amount of physical damage it's going to be doing with Rock Slides. That Rock Slide was about to do big damage, and here's a Rock Slide from that Stack Attack. Connects with both Incineroar and Tapu Koko, but of course, where there's a Rock Slide, there's always that chance to possibly flinch. Stack Attack reveals Life Orb, and here's a Hydro Pump from that Palkia.
This was always the downside, but it hits this time.
Tapu Koko, big damage, and wow. Yeah, there it is, a flinch from that Rock Slide, so Tapu Koko unable to move.
Yeah, that's a big flinch. Keeps the pressure up. Now Fake Out is available, but if you do go that direction, and then Palkia will attack before Tapu Koko and have a chance to just knock it out, and so it has to switch.
Tapu Koko switches out. Back comes the Yveltal. So the Yveltal now threatened with Rock Slide here. Probably safely switching in with a Fake Out into that slot as Incineroar does follow up with a Fake Out into that Stack Attack slot. Not much damage done at all. Quadruple resisted here. As Palkia uses a Z move here, it's going to be the Hydro Vortex. So Palkia just making sure that this Hydro Pump is going to connect, get the KO on either the Pokemon on the side of the field now.
Yeah, it's a good answer to having to use Hydro Pump as that water stab attack. Something we've seen other Pokemon do, where using the Z-move version lets you get a much better version of that attack and easily get the KO here on this Incineroar.
Yeah, so even though that Incineroar was already damaged,
Probably wasn't Hydro Pump range, maybe.
Yeah, it probably was, but, you don't want to risk missing, right? So, a big threat. Now Joseph loses the pivot of Incineroar.
And loses the Intimidate.
Yeah. Joseph sends out his fourth Pokemon now, the Metagross, which we've seen a lot.
Yeah, Metagross has been a fixture today. Good answer to the Xerneas. Provides a lot of damage kind of in any position it gets put into. We'll see what it can do in this one.
Stack Attack, it uses Rock Slide here, connects with that Yveltal. Intimidated once, does good damage to that Yveltal as, again, that Life Orb just slowly chipping away at it. And here's Palkia again with another Hydro Pump. Connects with that Metagross, doing some big damage, and here's a Stomping Tantrum. Metagross uses it against Stack Attack, gets the KO from that range. No Mega on that Metagross.
Yeah, I think that's a smart no Mega. You don't take too much extra damage. You know you're going to get the Stomping Tantrum KO anyway, and I would hazard a guess that the next Pokemon to hit the field is that Incineroar, and now Metagross will still have Clear Body and not take Intimidate. If you Mega Evolve, you definitely see Incineroar come in and just pick up that free Intimidate.
Yeah, so smart play right there. Just, that was going to be a free switch. So there's the Incineroar. Intimidate's not going to matter at all against that Metagross thanks to the smart preservation by Joseph. Could matter on that Yveltal if it knows Sucker Punch. But, again, Yveltal pretty content to just go for Foul Plays or even Snarl just to kind of reduce the amount of damage that the Palkia is doing.
Yeah, we did see something interesting where Palkia moved before the Metagross there in Trick Room, right?
Yeah.
The natural speeds of those two Pokemon would not indicate that. So, definitely something to watch out for. Shows you how devoted this Palkia is to that Trick Room setup.
Yep, and that probably means that with no speed in that Palkia, it's probably trained to be bulkier. As Incineroar over on Bingjie's side crashes into that Yveltal with the Flare Blitz, gets the KO right
clean
there.
KO.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of Incineroar dropping Flare Blitz, not offering that extra big damage option, but here does have it against Yveltal, who it couldn't have knocked off, and gets the KO.
Yeah, and Joseph has a lot of resources devoted towards reducing the amount of special damage that it will be taking with the Light Screen and the Snarls. So Light Screen finally wears off.
Yeah, Light Screen wears off, and that's another good point about how important that Flare Blitz was there, right? It was going to be difficult to take down that Yveltal as long as you had to keep going at it with special attacks. And you kind of look at Incineroar, and a lot of times its only physical options are Dark, but there gets the KO. But now the Trick Room expires, you can just Mega Evolve this Metagross and have your Tapu Koko and really offer a lot of damage. Maybe enough to get rid of Incineroar if you have something like Volt Switch and the Stomping Tantrum. Of course, that just leaves Palkia around, and an opportunity to Trick Room again, but without Stack Attacka around anymore, maybe you're okay with it.
Yeah, the only moves we've seen so far from that Palkia are Hydro Pump, which is not the most accurate move, so maybe you might play into that a little bit as Tapu Koko uses Volt Switch, hits into that into that Palkia slot, and here is Metagross' Stomping Tantrum, hits into that Incineroar, not intimidated. Oh, Incineroar hangs on though, and here's a Flare Blitz from that Incineroar on Bingjie's side, crashes into that Tapu Koko just to ensure the KO, and Palkia will be able to move here, be able to go for a Hydro Pump.
Flamethrower?
Flamethrower could work too, as Incineroar actually KOs itself from its own...
But just picks up the Trick Room.
From its own recoil, and here's another Trick Room by Palkia. So Palkia, very bulky, heavily invested in Trick Room.
Yeah, I think Joseph maybe got a little bit greedy there. That Volt Switch could have locked in that Stomping Tantrum KO. Instead tries to pick up extra damage on Palkia, misses the Stomping Tantrum KO, and loses Tapu Koko for it. The Trick Room is interesting here for setting it up knowing that Rayquaza is about to hit the field. I wonder if that indicates this Rayquaza isn't quite like all the others.
Metagross protects itself as Palkia continues to target down that Mega Metagross with Hydro Pump, and Rayquaza on Bingjie's side reveals that it knows Crunch.
Yeah, another, we've seen a lot of these Rayquaza with interesting last options, and Crunch there to threaten that Metagross more. Probably just a formality here, as this Hydro Pump should KO it. Metagross doesn't have the multi-target moves to clear out these two Pokemon.
There you go. Palkia closes the deal, gets the KO on that Mega Metagross, and Bingjie now is 1-0 here in this round.
Yeah, definitely an interesting match. The Trick Room, I feel like, came in really well timed, where it had Stack Attack, not even having to spend the turn setting up itself, so it was relatively healthy, did take that Stomping Tantrum, but it was in a comfortable position, unintimidated, forced Incineroar to take the Rock Slide just to get the Intimidate off, and those was the first of those big pieces of damage that Bingjie needed.
Yeah.
Palkia showed a lot of utility, too. Got a big KO, got the Trick Room off twice. Definitely enough value out of that restricted spot. That's what you're looking for with these maybe off-meta restricted Pokemon, is that even if they seem good in the game, they need to provide that same level of value that all these other restricted Pokemon do, and there's no question that Palkia did in that game.
Yeah, so I think, Joseph needs to figure out a way to prevent Trick Room from being able to be set up.
Well, I think he can play in it decently if he has the right tools. If Stack Attacka doesn't come in on the same turn, so it is freely getting those Rock Slides off. If you have something... I do think the Metagross is an important tool with that. It's kind of unfortunate for Joe that even unmega'd, it is faster than Palkia. But it won't be against probably the Rayquaza, for instance. It could underspeed and Trick Room. And so keeping the clear body, keeping the resistance against Rock Slide and Gyro Ball from Stack Attack provides a useful tool if that Trick Room goes up, because I do think it's hard to get rid of it. Palkia, only weak to Dragon, no big Dragon offense, Dragon and Fairy. No big Dragon and Fairy offense on Joe's side means that Trick Room is probably going up. You don't have Taunt, you don't want a KO threat other than the Guardian Avola, which we saw him try in Game 1. So not denying it, and then you have to figure out how to play within it.
Yeah, Groudon is the adjustment for Joseph. Groudon not brought in the previous...
Well, there were a lot of Hydro Pumps in that last game. You'd love to see a few of those get canceled out. Yeah,
so you have to watch out for the Rayquaza. You just gotta be careful. Make sure that you don't set yourself up to just have that Palkia go for a Hydro Pump when you have the Groudon out and Rayquaza switches in. So be careful about that.
Yeah, it's like playing the Kyogre matchup. You just also have to worry about Trick Room from Kyogre suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think here you have to be careful again of the Guardian Alola play. He got the Protect on it this last game. He gets the Fake Out to prevent it this time, but you have to be careful of that every turn as long as it's available.
Yep, and Groudon on Joseph's side goes straight on the offensive, uses Earth Power on that Palkia, but Palkia easily able to just use Trick Room. So now, be careful about the possible U-turn play too. Have Incineroar use U-turn, and then Rayquaza comes in, and then your Groudon just takes a Hydro Pump, or even a...
Yeah, you're right. That's the order of this should be Incineroar, Palkia, Groudon, and then Tapu Koko last. And so the kind of infrequent U-turn into Rayquaza for... Normally it's Volt Switch in Rayquaza that makes it work.
Not even going to use U-turn. Instead, Incineroar switches out immediately, just straight into the Rayquaza, possibly worried about hitting into a Protect with that U-turn. Groudon realizes that, doesn't want to sacrifice... Joseph doesn't want to sacrifice that Groudon just yet, switches out that Groudon immediately into Yveltal, which can take the Hydro Vortex or even the Hydro Pump a lot better than that Groudon will. As here it is a Hydro Vortex from that Palkia, so smart recognition right there from Joseph, but let's see where this actually targets.
Yeah, I'm wondering where this is going. I think both were pretty valid targets. I could still pick up a KO on Tapu Koko here, or a lot of really valuable damage on Yveltal. Either way, I think it's a good way to spin the momentum of this first turn of the Trick Room.
Oh, yeah. Actually hits right into that Tapu Koko slot, so no light screen up, and that is big damage. It gets a KO from Tapu Koko from that range, so the threat of that Guardian of Alola is gone off the field.
Yep, all those health bars have to be actually worked through. We've seen how bulky that Palkia is, taking maybe 40% from that Earth Power. There's still going to have to be a lot more attacks to get rid of it. Those Snarls and knockoffs and things will add up, but it will be a while.
Incineroar takes the field for the fallen Tapu Koko. The Intimidate's going to be pretty big on that Rayquaza over on Bingjie's side.
Yeah, Intimidate is definitely useful here. The Fake Out is useful to get yourself through a turn of Trick Room, get a Snarl off. Incineroar easily the right answer of what to bring in here.
And Stack Attack takes the field, trying to take advantage of it under Trick Room as Incineroar uses Knockoff, lands into that Stack Attack slot, losing its Life Orb as Palkia uses Hydro Pump, hits into that Incineroar slot for super effective damage, but Incineroar hangs on, and here is a Snarl from that Yveltal to hit into that Palkia, dropping its special attack stat by 1 stage.
Yeah, so this isn't quite as well timed with Stack Attack as in the last game, but it now doesn't have Intimidate, so it takes a lot more damage for the trouble, has less turns of Trick Room to work with, but there isn't even the option of Incineroar coming in to intimidate it, so these Rock Slides are going to be huge. And there's only one Pokemon in the back, so one of these rock-weak Pokemon is going to have to stay in and deal with the threat. The Snarl is going to help with Palkia. Probably still Incineroar is in Hydro Pump range, but that would imply, if that's the KO, the direction you look for that KO, then Incineroar will be able to get an attack off first.
Bingjie withdraws Stack Attack out, resetting that attack stat, and Rayquaza takes the field just to make sure that, Hydro Pump will be working here as Incineroar switches out, and here comes Groudon.
Is that a Hydro Pump into
that could
Incineroar?
Possibly be a Hydro Pump into that slot, which might not be the best for Joseph to see here, but what is going to happen this turn? Here's a Hydro Pump. Connects. Does it hit that Groudon, or it goes...
Huge.
Wow.
What a call by Bingjie. Groudon looking to come in to deny the KO into Incineroar, reset the Intimidate, not take too much from Rock Slide and just cancel that Hydro Pump. Instead, the call is made. Rayquaza comes in, and yes, it's a foul play, takes a lot of damage for that, but picks up the clean one-hit KO on Groudon that's massive.
Incineroar takes the field for the fallen Groudon, but the Intimidate onto that Rayquaza... Rayquaza's already so heavily damaged, but Rayquaza really did its one job, really just give Bingjie the weather advantage.
It timed it perfectly, got the airlock in at the moment it was necessary. Now Palkia will be free to continue to Hydro Pump. Yes, they're -1 special attack Hydro Pumps, but that can always be reset. You can probably find another Trick Room if you really want it. Palkia's still relatively healthy with these minor damage threats that are left on Joe's side.
Yep, and here we go. Incineroar takes the field over on Bingjie's side. Intimidate's going to be pretty good. Yveltal can bypass that by using Foul Play, but protects Bingjie's side from possible Sucker Punches as Palkia protects itself here. Incineroar uses Knockoff, lands into that Incineroar over on Bingjie's side. Not very effective, is going to knock off the Safety Goggles, so that's information to know. As Snarl from Yveltal connects with both Incineroar and into that Palkia Protect, so...
Yeah, but information is only useful if you get to use it in the next game, and right now Joe has a big hill to climb to get into that Game 3. This is, again, really well timed, where Trick Room is expiring. right as he has Fake Out right next to Palkia. It's so easy if he wants the Trick Room back right now to Fake Out that Yveltal and get it back up. With this -1 Incineroar having no chance to KO Palkia from this health.
Yep, and Yveltal not even going on the offensive here, just protecting itself as the Incineroar on Bingjie's side uses Fake Out into that Protect here as Palkia no turn to set up Trick Room, just goes straight on the offensive, goes for a Hydro Pump into that Incineroar as Incineroar on Joseph's side is able to go for a knockoff onto that Palkia slot.
Yeah, that's a massive miss. It's definitely the cost you pay for using Palkia, for you having to use Hydro Pump. Eventually one of those is going to miss. Now, with no threat of Fake Out, this Snarl will just come out and possibly KO Palkia. And oh, wow.
No. Almost there, but wow. Again, not spending that turn to set up Trick Room could be costly here as Palkia just goes for a Hydro Pump again. Incineroar dodges it, and here is Incineroar on Joseph's side using knockoff onto that Incineroar slot over on Bingjie's side, and here's a U-turn.
Doesn't take the KO.
Yeah.
Will Trick Room go up now? Oh, no, we already saw the Hydro Pump miss.
Yeah, that's
just bypassing all these opportunities to set up Trick Room that would really close this game. With this Stack Attacker left, this Rayquaza left, he decides he needs the speed, doesn't need the Trick Room. At some point you have to deal with this health bar of Yveltal, though. These couple of missed Hydro Pumps are making this much more difficult because you just need this Incineroar gone so that it's not a threat to just KO the Rayquaza, and so that you have the full chance to slowly burn your way through this Yveltal health bar. The more as these Hydro Pumps continue to miss, that time is running out, and Yveltal's health bar looks scarier and scarier.
Palkia switches out. Incineroar takes the field here. I like what Bingjie is doing here, just rotating in these Intimidates to prevent Yveltal from being able to do so much damage with a possible Sucker Punch onto that Stack Attack slot hiding in the back as Rayquaza Mega Evolves now, bringing out the Delta Stream. Not really going to have big of an impact for Rayquaza here as it's already almost KO'd. As here's the Extreme Speed, Rayquaza does connect onto the Incineroar over on the side, and that is enough to get the KO. So there it is, one big knockout right there. Incineroar is out of the way, and here is a Snarl connects with both Incineroar and gets a KO on that Mega Rayquaza. So, Mega Rayquaza did its job. It got the KO out onto the Incineroar.
But did it, though? I don't think that was its job. I think its job was to land a Dragon Ascent into Yveltal and burn through a big chunk of that health bar. Palkia can't do that from that health. The Stack Attacker can come in and but it's going to go down to one foul play, right? If you get the Fake Out on Rock Slide, but it could easily be a Protect. I'm surprised it wasn't Palkia coming in this turn to another opportunity to have Trick Room.
Oh, no Protect at all. Here's the Fake Out, though, and there's a flinch, and Stack Attacker just uses Trick Room instead, which is good. It's a smart play.
Yeah, so he gets the Fake Out and Trick Room this way. It's probably enough. There are other ways this could have gone, but the Rock Slide, the eventual attack from Palkia, this Incineroar continuing to just attack should be enough to do it. Oh, but we see another Protect from Stack Attack.
Yep, Stack Attack protects itself here as Yveltal protects itself as well, trying to stall out the Trick Room here as Incineroar uses Flare Blitz, crashes into that Protect for no damage at all. So Joseph has to stall out the Trick Room. Bingjie just needs to be able to connect some Rock Slides and make sure that Stack Attacker doesn't get KO'd so easily. Stack Attacker switches out. Palkia takes the field here. Already heavily damaged. Incineroar might go for a play. Nope, just go straight for the filler. But I was thinking maybe go for a U-turn to switch out and then get that another Intimidate. But that's a lot of damage right there as... Yep, there's a foul play from that Yveltal into that Palkia slot, gets the KO. So Bingjie playing it pretty safe here, has two options to try to KO the Yveltal, the Flare Blitz and the Rock Slide. Yeah,
playing it very carefully and slow, which can sometimes be a mistake. You can play just a little bit too carefully and slow and miss your opportunity. Could have had Rock Slide and Flare Blitz there to just KO, but maybe worried that Rock Slide would have put it in range to eat a berry, and then Flare Blitz would have missed the KO, and then you start losing your opportunities for damage. Now, Rock Slide definitely should be the KO, Flare Blitz should be the KO, and you can't stop both, even once Trick Room expires.
And here is the Protect game here as the Yveltal tries to stall out the Trick Room. A couple more turns of Trick Room are still remaining, so Yveltal going to have to get a little bit lucky here with the Protects in order to successfully stall it up, but it can set it up again.
Well, even if it doesn't set it up, once it stalls it out, we saw Gyro Ball, we saw Flare Blitz. Snarl can't KO either of these Pokemon, I don't think, so you're not looking to get 2 KOs. It doesn't matter if Trick Room expires here.
Yep, so there's another Protect, gets double Protect as Gyro Ball hits into the Protect. Flare Blitz also crashes into the Protect, so Trick Room does expire here. The only possibility is a misplay, so there
maybe
really
Gyro Ball
isn't
isn't a KO. That could be a risk if that's what he goes for.
Here's the Snarl from that Eviltal, connects with both, doesn't get the KO on that Stack Attacker or that Incineroar, so that would have been a possible out. Flare Blitz from the Flare Blitz from Incineroar is going to land and get the KO onto the Eviltal, so that does it. Bingjie takes this round.
Yeah. Did play that carefully. Isolated that Eviltal against the Incineroar. Likely a losing matchup, even if you ignore all the other Pokemon swirling around, right? We saw a lot of dark options from Eviltal. Wasn't going to have the ability to burn through that Incineroar health bar quickly, and those Flare Blitzes were doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But all those other Pokemon were there, providing other opportunities, other places that the Eviltal's attacks had to go. We saw the Foul Play go into the Palkia, and really it was just an advantage that was a little bit too much.
Yeah, incredible play right there. Palkia, not a Pokemon that we commonly see. It's great to see it do so much work. I mean, Palkia was a very strong contender on Bingjie's team, being able to set up Trick Room and also go for that Waterium Z move.
It set up Trick Room so comfortably. I mean, think about that turn 1 Trick Room in Game 2. It was just a very straightforward fake out in Trick Room, and what is Primal Groudon going to do to me? It's Earth Power for a chunk of damage? I'm fine with that. I just got Trick Room up. I'm immediately threatening back that Groudon because Rayquaza's sitting there, and you have to worry about it. Or sitting there in the back, and you have to worry about it coming in. Really a lot of utility using that the bulk and typing to not have to worry about any weaknesses at all from Joe's team. Made it easy.
Yeah. Trick Room was a key component for Bingjie's victory right there. Stack Attacker under Trick Room is strong. Nothing will underspeed Stack Attacker besides another Stack Attacker. So really just sitting comfortably, going for Rock Slide and stuff like that. Bingjie did an excellent job playing his team. And Joseph, Joseph played well too.
Yeah, he played well. I mean, it's kind of a difficult hill to climb. If you see in Team Preview one of your opponent's restricteds, I have no super effective attacks against it. That's a problem, right? It's going to get the Trick Rooms it wants, which means Stack Attack is going to be free to attack in that Trick Room, like you said, and then you look at his team,
and Trick Room?
And that was a problem for him too, right? You don't want free Trick Rooms for your Stack Attacker when you're trying to use Eviltal and Incineroar to grind out the game. That's just too much damage too quickly to play the way those two Pokemon want to play. And so, I think that Palkia was just a matchup he wasn't prepared for, not something you see that often, and works out really well for Bingjie, who moves on to 4-0. So it's working out for him consistently.
3 more rounds of Swiss remaining. 2 more if you want to guarantee your spot in the top cut. So Bingjie almost there. Just 2 more wins, and he secures the spot to the top cut. Of course, as we've already mentioned, you can lose 2, but then it all comes down to tiebreakers, and you never want to be that person that whiffs top cut because you miss on the tiebreaker. But, like I said, there's still more Pokemon to happen here. There's 3 more rounds. We only just finished round 4. There's 7 rounds today. So stay tuned for more action coming here from the Portland Regional Championships. Stay tuned, everybody.